Did you know that 90% of people who experience rejection from someone they're interested in will waste weeks, months, or even years trying to prove their worth to that person? Well, a study from the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, they found that people who are rejected, they tend to idolize the rejecter even more, convincing themselves that the person was the one that got away instead of seeing the situation for what it is, a closed door. Now, rejection isn't a challenge. It's not a game. It's not a puzzle that you need to solve. It's a statement. And most people, they make the mistake of turning it into an obsession. Instead of moving forward, they waste time questioning their value, thinking, what could have I done differently? Maybe if I just wait, they'll change their mind. Well, let me tell you, if they wanted you, they would have chosen you, period. And if that stinks, well, good, because pain is an indicator. It tells you where you need to grow. And right now, you need to grow out of that illusion that you can force someone to see your worth. No one's ever too busy for what they truly desire. Emotional unavailability is just a polite way of saying, I don't value enough to try. And that's the reality that most people don't want to face. So before we go any deeper, if you're someone who is tired of wasting time on people who don't see your value, then hit that subscribe button. I'm building a community of people who uplift each other through adversity, whether it's in a relationship or life. And if you need daily motivation, follow me on X for straight up truth bombs. And for some behind the scenes and extended content, follow me on Instagram. Let's keep growing together. Now back to the truth that most people ignore. Rejection, it's not about you, it's about them. It's about their priorities, their preferences, their capacity to love and invest in someone. But most people, they take it personally. They let rejection define them. But let me ask you this. If you walk into a shoe store and try on a pair that doesn't fit, do you blame the shoe? Or do you take it personally and try to force your foot into it? Bending it, stretching it, making yourself uncomfortable just so you can make it work? No, you put it back and you look for a pair that fits. But when it comes to relationships, people don't think of it that way. They chase, they beg, they twist themselves into, someone that they're just not, just to be accepted. That's a definition of self-betrayal. Now, let's talk about the two kinds of rejection people struggle with the most. Being rejected by someone that they're interested in and being rejected by someone that they're already with. Now, someone who broke up with them and no longer wants to be with them. Both, they hurt. Both require the same amount of mindset shift. Excuse me. If someone you were interested in didn't choose you, the only thing that you need to do is accept it and move on. No pleading, no over-analyzing, no waiting around for them, to change their mind. You're not a product of waiting to be, picked off of a shelf. You are the buyer, not the seller. The moment you start viewing yourself as a prize is the moment that you stop chasing people who don't see your worth. And what about the second type of rejection? Well, when someone that you were in a relationship with decides that they don't want to be with you anymore, well, that's the one that cuts the deepest, right? Because you gave them your time, your energy, your emotions, you shared memories, you invested with them. But here's what you need to understand is that when someone walks away from you, just let them. Don't chase, don't beg, don't try to, negotiate your way back into the life, because if they truly value you, they wouldn't have left you in the first place. See, most people, they don't want to hear this, but breakups don't happen by accident. People don't just wake up one day and decide that they don't want to be with you. It's a decision that builds up over time. And instead of, trying to fix what's already broken, you need to recognize that their departure is the proof that, they were never meant for your future. You don't hold on to someone who lets go of you, right? You don't chase someone who turns their back. If you don't water a dead plant and expect it to grow, right? A recent study published in the Journal of Behavioral Science found that 80% of people who struggle with prolonged heartbreaks are actually addicted to the cycle of emotional pain because their brain associated rejection with personal failure. Now think about that. People get addicted to suffering. They keep, revising old conversations, rereading texts and playing memories like a broken record, and all because they're just trying to find a different ending to the story that's already been written. But let me make this clear. The moment someone decides that you're not for them, you shouldn't take it, like bad. Take it as a blessing, not a curse, not a challenge, a blessing, because the decision frees you. It releases you from something that was never going to be right for you in the first place. Now, imagine that you're in an airport holding a ticket for a flight. that just got canceled. You're standing there, right? Furious, thinking, why? I planned this, I wanted this. But what you don't realize is that the flight was never going to get you where you needed to go. Maybe it had technical issues. Maybe it was headed in the wrong direction. Maybe it was never meant to take off in the first place. So what do? You don't sit there forever, right? You don't scream at the gate agent, demanding that they make the flight happen. No, you find a new flight, one that actually gets you where you need to go. Well, that's what a rejection is. It's a canceled flight. It was never going to take you to your destiny. And instead of fighting it, you need to see, it for what it is. Protection from what wasn't meant for you. You see, most people don't realize that rejection is just redirection. It's a way of God saying, not here, not them. I have something better. See, Proverbs 3:5-6 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not in your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him and he will make your path straight. But most people, they don't trust it. They fight it. They try to force what was never meant to be. And well, that's where the real suffering begins. Rejection is nothing but a detour. It's a detour sign on the road to life. It's not the end, it's just a new path. The problem is most people, they sit down at that detour and refuse to move. They set up a camp in their pain. They replay rejection over and over, thinking that they can change it. But you can't change what's already been done. What you can change is what happens next. So, what's your next move? What's your next move? Are you gonna, keep chasing validation from someone who already told you no? Are you gonna keep, lowering your worth just to make someone else comfortable? Or are you gonna stand up, respect yourself, and move on? I need you to do something right now. If you've been struggling with rejection, if you've been stuck in that cycle of self-doubt, well, it's time to break free. Hit that subscribe button because I'm building a movement, of people who refuse to let rejection break them. And follow me on X for daily motivation and on Instagram for exclusive content. You're not alone in this, but you have to take the first step. The first step is understanding this. Rejection, it's not the end of your story, it's the beginning of your strength. And the faster you accept that, the faster you can start winning. So what's it gonna be? If you guys got any value out of this video, then YouTube suggests that you'd get value out of these videos right here as well. And don't forget to smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe if you haven't already. And thanks for watching. I'll catch you on one of these videos right here. Peace.